once again, we are here with the Atmosphere Changers. I am Lady A. Ward, and we're getting ready for an exciting time on tonight. We're going to be talking about women raising men. That's right, women raising men. And my question to you is, can a woman raise a man? Well, I believe that she can. So we're going to have some good topics tonight. We got some good performers tonight, and we're just going to do and make it do what it's going to do on tonight. All right? So once again, my name is Lady A. Ward, and I am excited to be your host on tonight. Here tonight, I will have my co-host, which her name is Miss China O'Lighton, and she'll be coming up here pretty soon. The song says, "When I Think of You." On tonight, I'm going to give you just a few points of how or best ways it is for a young lady to raise a growing young boy. But before I do, I want to sing one of my selections off of my CD, "When I Think of You." When I didn't know you, didn't feel your presence, didn't feel your joy. And then one day I realized couldn't make it on my own, didn't want to be alone. Times got so hot for me, I could not see the light. Didn't know if I was gonna come and didn't know it was right. When I think of you, it's the way I feel inside. When I think of you, you brought the light. When I think of you, it's the way I feel inside. When I think of you, you. So I got down on my knees and I asked the Lord, please, come in and take your place in my life. I give my heart to you. You've been giving me all your love, been giving me all your joy. Could ask for much more. Ever since that day, I've been praising your holy name, been lifting your name on high. There's no other reason why. When I think of you, it's the way I feel inside. When I think of you, when I think of you, it's the way I feel inside. When I think of you, I can't live this life without you. So much I wanna learn about you. Can't live this life without you. Lord, you know I need you. Can't live this life without you. So much I want to learn about you. So much, so much, so much. When I think of you, it's the way I feel inside. When I think of you, ooh. When I think of you, it's the way I feel inside. When I think of you, you bring the joy in my life. All right.
Chill.
Okay. Getting to the subject, can a woman raise a man? So, I kind of struggled with this. What I want to do is give you guys some points of things that you can do to the new mothers. If you're thinking about being a mother, if you already are a mother, we as parents, we will make mistakes. We have made mistakes, and we will learn from our mistakes. So tonight what I'm going to do, there are a lot of things that we can get into and different subjects that we can talk about when it comes to a woman raising a man. But I just want to deal on a certain part of, just to give you a couple of points on what would be a good way for you to start out when you are raising your sons. And we're dealing with raising sons to be men. One of the things I want to let you know is that as a parent, the best thing for you to do is to teach them to be responsible. And the reason for that is that when they get older, you want them to be able to take care of themselves on their own. So the first thing that you want to teach your son is to be responsible. Now that entails with different types of things. As we know that as a child is, when they're first coming out of the womb, the son is very dependent on the mother. As he gets older, we see him progressing and doing different things. As I look at one of my sisters, I see how her son is still kind of dependent on her. And he holds her, he kisses her, he hugs her. But as he will begin to get into the next level in age, as he gets older, eventually he's going to kind of just break away from her. Doesn't mean that he does not love her, but he's going to start to realize there's other things that he can do out on his own by himself. So once a child is coming out of the womb, and when they reach the age of walking, that is the time where you can start to begin to teach the child responsibilities. You begin to teach them how to clean up their room. You can present to them as different games of how they can begin to clean up their rooms. And just give them just little chores around the house. At the age of 2 years old, you can teach your son to do this. Okay, as the child gets into the age, I would say 12 years old, we know that the young man begins to go into puberty. At that time, different things begin to happen to their body. They start seeing different things. They start doing different things. So the teaching or the responsibilities is going to change for the mother. Now, I have raised 3 sons. I was a single mother. I had the advantage of the father still being in their lives, but I was still by myself in the home. Now there is a difference when there is still no man in the home, okay? Because dad could come and say, well, I don't want my son doing this, this, and this. And if I don't agree with it, come on somebody, if I don't agree with it, then I'll come and say, well, he's not in this household, so yeah, this is how you're going to do it. That happens pretty much all the time. Now I can go ahead and I can break it down a little further with saying we need to try to understand to be with the right person so that we know who we're going to lay with, and then that, comes with different situations. But as I had the ability and the opportunity to raise my sons, I made mistakes. I had guidance from my mother, and I had guidance from my grandmama. Now, what I remember is that I did not have my dad in the household. So my mother and my grandmama probably was teaching things to me from things that they went through, in their life. So what we did was I trained them to have certain responsibilities. As they reached the age of 12, they were able to know what it meant to wash the dishes. They were able to clean. They were able to cut the grass. Now, I remember I had one son who did not like to wash the dishes. He did not like to touch the water, okay? And his name is Mr. J. City, okay? But we will not put him on Front Street. He never liked washing dishes. I don't know if he's washing dishes in his own home now. He might have dirty dishes. I don't know. Okay, Dominique says no, he's still not washing the dishes.
I ain't washing no dishes.
But our job is, as a parent, to love them, to teach them, to train them so that they can go out on their own and be able to take care of themselves. Yes, mothers, I know it is a responsibility. Yes, single mothers, I know that you are scared to release your sons out into the world. Yes, I know that there's a lot of killing, murdering, backbiting, whatever is going on the outside. But this is still something that we have to do. Okay, let's give God a hand praise on that. All right. So one of the responsibilities, like I said, they should know how to cook, how to clean, how to cut the grass. Again, you are showing your son responsibilities. Okay, so that is one point that you want to look at. Now, if you are not showing those things as that child gets older, you might have some situations. They could be out on their own. How are they going to be able to take care of their yard if they have it? How are they going to be able to cook for themselves if there's nobody else there to cook? They need to at least know how to cook basic things, okay? So, another important thing as young parents, as young women raising their sons, you want to let your son know that it is very important for them to have an education. And when I say education, I mean finishing high school, going into college, or even if not college, some type of trade where they can be able to make ends meet for themselves. They need to have some type of trade. Without that, they're not going to be able to make it. They will end up going and maybe doing things out on the street, selling drugs, doing the opposite things that will cause them to be locked up. And you do not want for that to be for your son. So make sure, ladies, that you instill to your sons that they have to have some type of education. When your kids are in school, you want to maybe try to keep them in some type of social club, some type of sports. That is another good thing. The reason why I say that is because school gets boring for them. Okay? They get up in the morning, they eat their little breakfast, they go to school, they're in the classroom, they get bored. Okay? So they need to have something else to do outside of school. I mean, my kids, was that my kids or was that me? I think I was in the bowling league. I don't forget. Lord Jesus. So that was me and Anthony that was in the bowling league. So we was in the bowling league. I mean, my sons, I was wore out. They played every sports from sun up to sundown, from baseball, basketball, football, wrestling. And I had 3, so they were back to back. So I see the difference that by them playing sports, James did instruments. It also helps them to be smarter in school. They get good grades. So believe me when I tell you that if they play sports, if they do play some type of instrument, it does help them academically when they're in school. So make sure that you instill in your son, hey son, you got to go to school. You got to finish school. It's very important. You don't finish school, you're not, how you going to make it? Okay? So that's another point. Find them a good role model. Remember, I'm talking about the man is not in the household. We are out here trying to take care of them by ourselves. Find them a good role model. Now, at every age, they're going to need a different type of role model or a life coach. I might not need the same role model for James as I need the same role model for Quincy. Depending on what they are getting into, their likes, their interests of what that they want to do. You need to find a male role model that is going to kind of fit in that category so that they can train them, so that they can talk with them, so that they can spend time with them. Why? Because the man is not there. The father is not there. So you want them to be around a male figure that can also tell them right or wrong, that will help them, okay? So that is a very big task. Always, young ladies, make sure that you have a role model for your son. That is very important. Nowadays, what is happening is our children are exposed to a lot. They're exposed to the internet, social media, YouTube, television. As much as I love TV, I like to watch my shows and my half and half nots or whatever, you know. Don't play with me with the half nots. Okay, I'm crazy. But as much as I like to watch them, at this day and time, it is not good for your children And I'm just going to come out and say it is not good for them to be watching TV that much unless they're watching something educational. Because there are different things that is on the TV now. There are different things that is on YouTube. And if you allow them to be on YouTube, I suggest that you do monitor it. And that you know what they're getting into, that you can see what they're using, who's contacting them, what. You know, I have a granddaughter that's 7 years old, and she already has an iPhone. I mean, iPhone. Come on. So we have to monitor what she is doing. You know, here a couple of months ago, they had this situation that was going on the internet with this girl. I don't know what she was. I don't know what kind of face that was that she had, but that was very frightening to me. And they had this on YouTube. You guys know what it was. It was causing these kids to commit suicide or whatever it was that was going on YouTube. Now, perhaps if I let my child look at YouTube and I don't know what's going on, different things can happen. So it is very important, ladies, that you make sure that you monitor what your child is watching on the TV. And I'm just going to say, if you're going to let them watch TV, they shouldn't be watching no more than 1 or 2 hours a day. That's it. Because it's too much unless it's educational. Okay? That's just me. That's just me. Okay? One very last important point that I want to say is that let your son know that you are in their circle and that you love them and that you are in their corner and they can trust you to come to you to talk about anything that they are going through. And that they will not be scared to come to you. Because what happens is, if they don't come to you, they'll go to somebody else that they think they can trust. And sometimes that might not be the right person that they need to go to. And then they get into other situations and things on the outside. What's going on now is a lot of situations I've read. I spoke with people, professionals, and everyone has a different opinion. Can a woman raise a man? Some say yes, some say no, some say I don't know, some told me they didn't care. Everything is different and every situation is different for every child. And I know that the mothers are, at this day and age, I'm dealing with right now, that they are scared to release their sons out because they don't know what's going to happen on the outside. And it is a lot of things. I would tell you that you need to pray and you would need to lift them up as they go out. But it is very important, very, very, very important that we still have to allow them to be men. Your job as a single parent is to love them, to teach them, to train them, and to send them out. And you let God take care of the rest. All right? How does that sound?
Amen.